Welcome back into the Sports Source with Bob, Jimmy, Will, and Chuck. This is Quick Slants. I'm going to let you guys have about 30 to 60 seconds each. You can talk about something we've already talked on. You want to rebut something. You want to reiterate something. Any other SEC game, it's your time. Chuck, this is dangerous, but have at it.
The only thing I want to say is Tennessee won by 29 points. Hey, kudos to the team and the fans. That was an 80-minute delay. And you talked about how they handled it. I mean, how easy is it to come back? You're going to have pulled hamstrings. You can have all sorts of problems. It was really like a doubleheader in a way. I mean, it was two games. Really impressive how Tennessee, especially a young team, not only handled it, but like you said, were prepared for that.
All right. Will Overstreet, your quick slant.
Just a couple guys that really stood out to me yesterday, and that was Darren Kirkland Jr. Looked like an excellent player. I mean, guy that from the very first kickoff makes the play and gets out there, makes a lot more plays. I think a guy that's going to be getting a lot more playing time, especially as a true freshman. Darren Vereen basically had some great pass rushes, actually looked like the best pass rusher on the team yesterday with the most moves and most consistent. And then Alvin Kamara. You know, that one move where you stop and then you go, that looked pretty special. You haven't seen a lot of guys that have those kind of movements on this Tennessee offense in a long time, so he looked like a great player.
Jimmy Hines.
Texas A&M had the worst defense in the SEC last year, and John Chavis turned that group around yesterday. Arizona State had fewer than 100 yards rushing. They had fewer than 300 total yards. They averaged over 500 a year ago, and that was a ranked team. Kirk Herbstreit picked Arizona State to be in the college football playoff. And John Chavis and that A&M defense completely shut him down with many of the same players. I was really impressed with the job he did. And to me, that stamps A&M as a team to watch in the West Division.
Yeah, but what happened on third down? Was it third and Chavis? He's proven himself everywhere he's been.
Yes.
All right. Bob Hodge, your quick slant.
Well, I got about 4 of them right quick. One of them is
We got time.
Nike ruined Arizona's uniforms. That was the
Arizona
ugliest.
State,
Arizona
yeah.
State, excuse me, that was ugly. 2, I want to pick out Juwan Jennings. I mean, here's a kid that had been practicing at quarterback a lot of the preseason, and he looks like he could be one of those players in 2 years that you're talking about being amongst the best in the SEC. So I give him some kudos. But I want to go back to the question in the previous segment that somebody sent in and said, was he out-coached? I thought coming out of the break, Tennessee looked like a much better football team. Look at what they did after the break. What was it, 24-3 after the breaks, what they outscored them? To me, that goes directly to how good of a coaching job you did. You took them in there, you fixed some things, you changed some things. And so out-coach, no, I thought after the break, it showed that these guys do coach.
We've shown this, we showed it at the end of last season, we showed it last month. The teams in the SEC over the last few years that had returned 11 or fewer starters, all of them had gone in the tank the next year except for Tennessee. Tennessee last year won 2 more games. You look at the stuff yesterday, I think in a lot of ways Butch Jones is being set up to fail. And now it's not just a Tennessee thing. Yeah. I think that's an everywhere thing. I think that's just a product of everyone having an opinion, and everyone can now share that opinion. But I think people are still saying, well, I want to see how he manages a game. Well, here's the deal. They're going to lose some games this year. They're not going to go 12-0. So when they lose, you know what you're going to hear. Well, that's on the coaches. Okay, I'll go ahead and tell you. They're going to lose probably 3, 4, maybe 5 games this year. And I still think he's the right coach for the right job. I'm in on the guy.
Well, the announcer said something yesterday during the game that I thought was odd. He said, this is the year Butch Jones has been pointing to. I think next year's the year Butch Jones has been pointing to. So when they said that, I thought, no. And there you go, getting set up a little bit. Everybody's going to go, aha, this is their year.
Yeah.
Because the guys on the TV said that.
Well, you're not playing 23 true freshmen or whatever you end up playing thinking this is your year.
Yeah.
Right.
Next year they won't be playing 23 true freshmen if they get to that.
You had 8 true freshmen in the first quarter yesterday. Yeah. Again, look at Alabama. I'm guessing they didn't have 8 true freshmen in the first quarter. I'm going to give you one quick slant in less than 30 seconds. And I already said don't read too much into openers. To heck with that on this one. Jalen Hurd, Alvin Kamara look like the best 1-2 running back tandem Tennessee has had since Will Overstreet's days. I have not seen him. I know that Riggs and Houston both had 1,000 yards. I'm sorry, I would take these guys over those guys any day of the week. The talent level of those running backs, if you keep those guys healthy, they can do some very special things. I was really impressed by those two. I thought they looked like 90s style running backs for Tennessee.
They'll do what Riggs and Houston did as long as they're healthy. Each will get 1,000 yards this year.
As long as they're healthy.
Yeah.
All right. When we come back, it's the first installment ever of Chuck versus Pearl. You don't want to miss this. Come on.